We've all seen it happen. A huge, important project just goes completely off the rails. But what if the reason it fails isn't some big, dramatic tech explosion, but something a lot quieter? Okay, let's dive into the 5 hidden governance mistakes that slowly and silently kill projects from the inside out.
So get this, the numbers are pretty staggering. Globally, the Project Management Institute found that nearly 1 in 4 projects simply fails to meet its goals. Just think about that for a second. That is a massive amount of wasted time, money, and effort.
So if this is happening so often, what's really going on? What's the silent killer? Well, I can tell you it's not what most people think. It's not some sudden catastrophe or a massive technical glitch that just brings everything crashing down. Yeah, we love to blame technology when things go wrong, but the real culprit, it's almost always weak governance. See, projects don't usually collapse in a ball of fire. They deteriorate slowly. They get eaten away from the inside when the very framework that's supposed to guide them fails. And that brings us right to the first and maybe the most common governance failure, vague accountability. This is when nobody is quite sure who's actually in charge of what. This is that classic, wait, I thought you were handling that problem. When the roles are fuzzy, critical decisions just get missed. Small issues are left to fester until they become these full-blown crises, and the team ends up spending more time figuring out who should do something than actually solving the problem. So the solution is to get absolutely clear from day one, using a tool like a Rossi matrix. It just breaks down who does what. Responsible are the people doing the work. Consulted are the experts you get input from. Informed are the folks you just need to keep in the loop. But the real game changer here is that accountable column. You see, lots of people can be responsible for parts of a task, but there has to be only one person who is ultimately accountable for the outcome. That single point of ownership, well, that's what ends all the confusion and the finger pointing. Okay, let's move on to mistake number 2, and you'll see how this builds on the first one. Having powerless committees. These are the governance groups that look official on paper, but have no real authority to get anything done. We've all been in these meetings, right? Steering committees where you talk about the same problems week after week after week, but no decisions are ever actually made. It's this cycle of indecision that creates bottlenecks and just grinds the project to a halt. So the fix is to give these groups some real teeth. First, you have to formally empower them with the authority to make decisions that stick. Second, every single meeting has to end with clear outcomes. Decisions made, actions assigned, deadlines set, no exceptions. And third, you can use technology to enforce this. Instead of just hoping people remember, you use automated tools to flag unresolved issues, creating an escalation path that simply can't be ignored. It makes sure nothing falls through the cracks. All right, on to mistake number 3, and this one is particularly sneaky. Hidden risks. This is what happens when risks are, documented somewhere in a spreadsheet, but they don't get escalated until it is far, far too late. For way too long, risk management has been about looking backward, just reporting on stuff that's already happened. The real game-changing shift is moving from that rearview mirror approach to getting genuine, predictive insight. It's about seeing what's coming, not just documenting the past. And to get there, you need a culture where raising a red flag early is seen as a sign of strength, not failure. Then, you can supercharge this with AI. Imagine tools that plug directly into your project data, Jira, Trello, whatever you use, and use machine learning as an early warning system. They could predict schedule overruns weeks in advance. This is the shift from reacting to problems to proactively preventing them. And that leads us right into the 4th mistake, creating a governance process that focuses on endless reporting instead of generating any real insight. The classic green status light. On the surface, everything looks just perfect. The report says we're on track, nothing to see here. But what is really going on under the surface? Does that little green light tell you that team morale is tanking, or that technical debt is piling up, or that one of your key people is completely burned out? Of course not. A simple status color can hide a whole host of really serious problems. The solution here is to demand insight, not just data. You need what's called system-driven visibility. Think of a dynamic CIO-level dashboard that gives you a real-time, integrated view of project health, complete with predictive signals. This empowers leaders to make decisions based on what's actually happening right now, not on a static report that was outdated the second it was printed. And finally, let's hit the 5th mistake. This is the one that can make an entire project worthless, even if it's delivered perfectly, losing its strategic purpose. This is what happens when a project gets so lost in the weeds of just getting things done that it drifts away from its original why. It might technically succeed, it's on time, it's on budget, but if the final product no longer serves the business's core goals, then it's a strategic failure, plain and simple. The solution is just disciplined governance. This means constantly revisiting the project's strategic alignment. You do this through formal checkpoints, or gates, where you have to ask the tough question: is this still the right thing for us to be doing? And you know what? Sometimes the strongest governance decision you can make is to kill a project that no longer delivers value. That frees up your resources for what truly matters. So when you put it all together, the anatomy of a successful project becomes crystal clear. It's not magic. It's built on a solid foundation of defined authority, transparent risk management, and data-driven insight. And it's all held together by a constant, powerful alignment between your strategy and your execution. And the data absolutely proves how critical this is. According to the Project Management Institute, only 48% of projects are actually classified as fully successful. That leaves more than half that are either just partial successes or, worse, outright failures. And this has a massive financial impact. Globally, a staggering 11% of all investment in projects is just lost, wasted due to poor performance. That's billions of dollars just vanishing into thin air. And it's often because of the exact 5 governance mistakes we just walked through. Which really just leaves us with one final crucial question to think about in our own work. Is your project's governance acting as a safety net, enabling success and catching problems early? Or is it a slow-burning fuse, quietly ticking away until the whole thing just blows up?